Hey there, we're talking about slope-intercept form today, and this one's going to look like a long one, but it is very, very organized, so that should help. Earlier this year, we talked about slope-intercept form being y equals mx plus b, the slope of the line being represented by the letter m. Typically, we believe that that comes from the French word monter, which means to climb, and b for y-intercept. I don't know why they picked b, because y equals mx plus b doesn't have an a, but it is what it is. For the following equations, find the slope and the y-intercept and then graph it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just identify the slope and the y-intercept based on the equation. So 2x, the 2 in front of the x, is your slope, minus 4, the constant at the end, is your y-intercept. Then we've got y equals negative 2/3 x, the coefficient negative 2/3 being your slope, the plus 3, the constant at the end, being your y-intercept. Last but not least, you've got y equals negative x. So in front of the x, that negative sign, remember, represents -1. And b, because you don't have any sort of constant here at the end, there's no plus anything, your y-intercept is 0. So if we want to graph these, we now have all of the information that we need to create a graph. So for example, the first one that's on there has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -4. You always want to start with the y-intercept first. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the y-intercept of -4, and then we're going to say, all right, from here it has a slope of 2. Now 2 is the same as 2 over 1. So we're going to go up 2, right 1, put a dot. Up 2, right 1, put a dot. Up 2, right 1. So we've created our slope of 2 from the y-intercept. Next, we have a y-intercept of +3. We always want to graph that first. It gives us a place to jump off from. So then we've got a slope of -2/3. So I'm going to go down 2, right 1, 2, 3. Think rise over run. Down 2, right 1, 2, 3. That gives us a graph of y equals -2x plus 3. Last but not least, we have a y-intercept of 0. This also, you might remember, was called a direct variation because it goes through 0, 0, the origin, has a slope of -1, which is the same as -1 over 1. So we'd go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Doesn't take too many points before you can find what that line looks like. If you are given the slope, points on a line, and or the y-intercept, you can write the equation of the line. In order to write the equation of the line, you must have or be able to figure out the slope and the y-intercept. So if we want to write the equation for a line that passes through 4, 3 and has a slope of 2, we have m equals 2. What we don't have is the intercept. So in order to find the intercept, we're going to say, all right, y equals mx plus b. We're going to write down everything we know. We know the slope is 2. So right here where the m is, we're going to put the 2 there. The other thing we know is a coordinate. So we know an x value and we know a y value. So the x value is 4. The y value is 3, and the last piece that we don't know is the y-intercept. So now we have everything to find the y-intercept. 3 equals 8 plus b. I can subtract that 8 from both sides. -5 equals b. That's my intercept. So once I get to that point, I have everything I need. Y equals mx plus b. M is the 2. B is the -5. And I can also write it a little bit more efficiently as 2x minus 5. And that's what you have to do, is say, what do I have, and how can I use what I have to get the next thing that I need? All right. Write the equation of the line that passes through point -1, 4 and has a slope of -2. So again, I've got an x value and I've got a y value. I've also got the slope. So we're going to go through the same process. What do I have? How do I get to what I need? So y equals mx plus b. I'm going to plug in everything that I have. I have a y coordinate. It's 4. I have m, the slope. It's -2. I have an x coordinate. It's -1. I don't have the intercept, the plus b. So in order to move on, I'm going to simplify. 4 equals negative times negative is +2. And then subtract that 2 from both sides. 2 equals b. I have everything I need. I have the slope and I have the y-intercept. So I'm going to say y equals mx plus b. Y equals, the slope is -2, and the b value we just found was +2. get that to focus before I move on. It's like that was the opposite of getting it to focus. Let's see. Ooh, I have pen all over me. All right, write the equation of a line that passes through 1, 4 and negative 2, 1. So what I've got to do is I've got to say I don't have anything I need. I don't have a slope and I don't have a y-intercept. So I'm going to start by finding the slope. So I'm going to start with that slope formula from before. In order to find the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I might want to go through and say, here's my x1, here's my y1, here's my x2, here's my y2, and then I can plug those in. So the y2 value is 1, minus y1 is 4, the x2 value is negative 2, minus the x1 value is 1. So negative 3 over negative 3, negative divided by negative is positive 1. So now we've got our slope. If we know the slope is 1, now we can say, ooh, I know the slope. I can go back. Y equals mx plus b. Now I need to pick one of the two coordinates. Doesn't matter which one you pick. I would probably pick the 1, 4 because then I don't have to deal with any negatives. So here's my x and my y value I'm going to plug in. Y is 4 equals, the slope I just found is 1. The x value is 1 plus b. 4 equals 1 plus b. I'm going to subtract that 1 from both sides. And now I have my y-intercept. So that is actually quite easy. You know, again, it's about sort of attacking the problem. What do I have and what do I need? I have two coordinates. If I have two coordinates, I can find the slope. Once I have the slope, I can find the intercept. So y equals mx plus b. Y equals, we found that m was 1. X plus, we found that b was 3. The slightly more efficient way to write that would just be x plus 3. Last but not least, write the equation of the line that passes through negative 2, 1 and 3, negative 3. So this is the same as the one right before it, where first I have two coordinates. So I'm going to see that and think I need to find the slope. If I need to find the slope, I'm going to write the slope formula. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I've also labeled my coordinates. Y2, negative 3, minus y1 is 1. X2 is 3, minus x1 is negative 2. 3 minus negative 2 would be the same as plus 2. So I get negative 4/5. Not wonderful to work with, but I can work with a fraction. All right, so now that I've got my slope, now I'm going to move on to y equals mx plus b. What do I have? I can pick either coordinate. Neither one is really friendlier than the other, so I guess I'll just go with the one that's got smaller numbers. The y value is 1. Slope is negative 4/5. The x value is negative 2. That's what I was talking about not being friendly. 1 equals negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8/5. I've got to take away 8/5 from the left side and the right side. And that is negative 3/5. Remember, 5/5 would have been a whole. So I took away a whole, and then I still had to take away another 3/5 equals b. And that gives me everything I need. Now I have my slope, which was negative 4/5 with x. And then instead of plus b, I'm going to write the minus 3/5. I could do plus a negative 3/5, but that's not any easier.